Okay. And Quick, you've been in there a while, so go ahead and roll us a D100 in there.
How do you do that again? Oof. 2.
Ooh, alright. 2. Alright. 2 is, what is something you regret? Now, give you a moment to think there for you have to pipe up about it.
Whew. That's an interesting one at this point, isn't it?
It is kind of an interesting
It
one at this point since we haven't
requires
done anything
some
yet.
building. It
It
requires
does.
some development and a situation. Um. I can't go first here.
All right. Does anyone else have something they regret? Okay, fire off, Jinku.
Jinku regrets verbalizing to her family that she was interested in magic, because that's what got her kicked out of her family, basically, and abandoned. And with you, happy lot.
All right. Anyone else got one yet?
I regret being forced to being bound to mix. Had it not been forced, our relationship may have been maybe a little different, I think.
All right.
Because it's forced, he's an uppity prick. He's always telling me what to do.
Arranged marriages are a bitch.
Fuck that. I'm gonna get you someday. I will be free.
In time, you'll learn to love each other.
All right. Mix, Blossom, either you?
Mix, he regrets not asking his patron to make it to where Boot could treat him better. You know, to where he had to always be nice to him. They could never argue with him.
I will have true polymorph someday.
All right. And Blossom. Regrets shaving everywhere.
That's kind of hard.
It is, because we haven't got very far and haven't done anything regrettable yet. It doesn't have to be a huge thing. It doesn't have to be like, I regret murdering my parents or something like that. It can be small.
Like wearing that cloak with those shoes. Ooh, girl, mistake.
No shoes. Only cloak. I guess Blossom regrets being born hairless.
Regrets being born hairless. All right.
Or used to regret being born hairless.
Okay. All right. Anybody want to give us a recap of what went down last time?
Well, we learned about the guy, Floon, that pulled the heist off. Floon was the one who pulled the heist off. No. What was that guy's name? I'm not or Chinku, you're supposed to take good notes. I'm a bad person now.
Well, I haven't been great about that with this one.
Lord
Shit, what is
Daggelt
his
Neverember was the guy who embezzled the 500,000 dragons.
Daggold Neverember?
Daggelt
But-
Neverember.
But it was his son that we met, right?
Correct. His father is nowhere near Waterdeep. He fled the city a long time ago. His father is estranged.
I remember at the end there was the kids that had the game.
There were.
Shit, what game was it?
It was basically a form of 3-card Monty.
Yeah.
Didn't I
And-
get took?
He did.
Somebody got took.
Yeah, and then they pickpocketed me.
Mm-hmm.
Or tried.
And we captured him. One of them. And we talked to him. And yeah, I remember a little bit more now.
Okay. Well, I'll fill in some gaps for you here. So you had met with Volo, and he had told you that his friend, his drinking companion, Floon, had gone missing, and hadn't been seen, hadn't come home since last night when they were out and about at a bar in the south end of Waterdeep. And you had all headed down that way to check it out and see what info you could find. On the way, you came across, some sort of gang violence crime scene that the City Watch had gotten into, or had arrested some people for as you were passing.
They wouldn't let us talk to them. I remember that. They were gruff with us.
Yeah, they were. And you got down to the tavern down in the dock ward, which was the Skewered Dragon. Chatted with some of the patrons there. They had some things to say about the rich. And
Oh, and then we went to that purple shop.
yep, and you went to the purple shop and met Zoblob. And Zara sold her tarot cards to him for some info, and you found out that there was an altercation outside the shop where Floon and someone else had been jumped and taken off somewhere. And you followed the trail up to a warehouse on Candle Lane and took out some Kenku in there who had a different guild marking than the ones you'd seen so far. And you found that Raynar was hidden there. He'd been captured as well, and it seems that there was a case of mistaken identity when another gang busted in and took Floon, thinking that Floon was Raynar. And so now Floon is gone, and you were trying to find a way into, or where to go into the sewers to find this hideout that he had been taken to by the Xanathar's Guild. And the street urchins, Jenks and Squiddly, and what was the other one? Nat, Jenks, and Squiddly. They gave you some information about a entrance to the sewers nearby that you might want to check out, that they had seen people going into sometimes. And that's where we left off. And the kids ran off.
Okay, put almost all of that into a public note. If you guys look in your notes here, not quite word for word, but I got most of it down. Okay, so I remember that, and I bought those cards back.
You did buy those cards back.
Those are mine.
That's correct. Okay. I did have that noted as well.
Okay, and I bought some dust.
Yes.
How fine is it?
How fine is that?
How many pinches are in there?
Let's see.
That's usually dust is usually measured in, like, I guess gold amount or pinches. I'm just curious.
Well, let's see.
If it can be put up one's nose is one thing I'm curious
about. So there's 3 pinches worth.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
I don't think we ever found out what kind of dust it was, but there's 3 pinches of it.
Correct. I'll test it eventually. Okay, and so did we let the kid go before last time?
Yes, you had let the kids go.
Good.
They gave you that information, and then they kind of called to each other and ran off, kind of scrabbled up their little toys and stuff, their wooden sword and stick and their cards, and ran off the streets.
Can I have thrown them a couple copper?
Sure, you could have thrown them a couple copper. That's fine.
I'm going to take 5 copper from my inventory for those kids. What was the kid's name that gave me him?
The kid that gave that to you would have been... Let me see. That would have been Squiddly. Because there's Squiddly is the tiefling boy, Jenks is the girl, and Nat was kind of more of a rotund child. Yeah, and Zyara is here with us in Twitch. She's watching. She has
awesome, cool.
Yeah, she's had a terrible migraine like the entire day, and can't sit up for a long time. And so she's watching us on Twitch, so she at least knows what's going on. So, hello.
Cool.
All right. So, yeah. So right now, you guys are currently... Oh, let me share this map with you.
That does a good job at helping players remember last session is popping the map up from last session.
Yeah, I forgot I hadn't shared that yet.
Because I always find I have it up before the session, and so I don't think about like pushing it to the players because it's on my screen.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys, and there should still be some pins that you can see. The Zentrum warehouse on Candle Lane. You guys are currently at about the intersection of Book Street and Candle Lane, like kind of on the corner there, like at the end of Candle Lane, coming onto Book Street was where these urchins were at. Were doing their little game, and they had said that if you go kind of a little ways up Book Street and then like a hair off the street side, there's a cover down to the sewers that they've seen people go into sometimes, but they know it's dangerous, so they don't go down there.
But they didn't know anything more than that.
Yeah. They just know that gang people go there and gang people bad.
Okay. Well, shall we? We need to find Floon. So, I think we should head to the sewers immediately. What do you think, Jinku, boss?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. All right, so you guys make your way up Bookster Little Ways, and you see, kind of a small alleyway going between some houses, just a little way up, and kind of searching around on the ground here. You see, kind of up against the wall, a manhole cover of sorts that it was in the ground. It seems to have been somewhat loosely placed back in. It's not like quite all the way in its slot for the manhole, so it seems like it was a little loose. But this appears to be the one that Nat Jenks and Squiddly had told you about.
Well, I'm not going first.
I'll do it.
I'm not going second either.
All right,
Oh,
I'll
no.
go in.
Cool. I'll go last.
All right. So you all head down into the sewers, down this ladder that was leading down the way. And ignore the chat. You're not in a gloomy swamp. This is a sewer. I'm really surprised they didn't have sewer as an option in the mood lighting, but this is the closest I could get. So.
You
Well
could
done.
do /ML swamp and then /clear really quick, and it'll just delete history. That's
Oh.
something I've done a couple times. Yeah, I agree.
There we go. It's a sewer. It's a sewer with mysterious hurdy-gurdy music in the background.
My kind of sewer.
Right? So the sewer, as you guys are kind of standing down here, I mean, do any of you have dark vision? I'm trying to remember. Let me pull these up real quick. Can't remember if anybody was a dark vision.
Yeah, dog. I do.
You do? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Jinku doesn't. Mix doesn't. I'm pretty sure cats don't. No. Okay, so you're the only one. So it is dark down here. Like there is like a little bit of like it's in the evening on this day that you've been kind of traipsing around. So there is like some kind of ambient city light kind of coming down the ladder a little bit. So you can see a little bit in a pool, around the ladder that you're standing at. But otherwise, the only person who can really see very much right now is Boo. You see that the sewer, it's surprisingly well kept. It's still got a bit of a stench to it. It is a city sewer. And it's got some, some mildew and moss and things like that. But otherwise, it seems to be fairly well taken care of. It seems that the Cleaners Guild that takes care of this does a pretty good job.
Moog.
Yeah.
I have dark vision up to 60 feet.
Oh, you do?
Well,
Oh.
Jinku's gonna light a torch.
All right, Jinku lights up a torch. And so you're all able to see this now. You see from where you're at, you have, the sewer, going off in both directions from where this ladder comes down. One seemingly going kind of more towards the north, and one kind of going towards the south. You didn't get any information from the kids as to what direction to go once you got down here, because they'd never been down here. Do you look around at all for anything, or what do you guys go on?
I'm not a big fan of sewers, but yes. Let's look around and see what we can find.
Okay. So you're just kind of like checking around on the walls or things like that?
I think I'd be looking probably for markings on the wall. Is it like, is there water flowing and like stuff on either side, or is it like a circle type sewer?
So this is... let me fill it up here. So at the point where you are right now, it is more of a kind of circular pipe, and there is like some water, or, some liquid flowing through at the bottom of this kind of curved base of this. And it's all kind of rough hewn, kind of cobblestone type walls all the way around, and with the the various mosses growing on it. Like the water's low enough that if you kind of straddle the water, with your feet on either side, kind of on the curved edge of the sewer pipe. You can kind of walk up that way, up the pipe, without
Can
getting
I
your
have
feet too
my
wet.
hand? Can I walk up the center with my hands on my legs splayed out to the side? I
Yeah.
don't like getting dirty at all. I do not like getting dirty. So yeah, I'm like above the water, splayed out. I never put my feet down.
Okay.
But yeah, let's look around.
Okay.
See-
Anybody who's looking around, feel free to roll investigation. See if you see anything on the walls or anything around in this. Oof.
Well, Jinku don't see shit.
I'll be like kind of following along behind Jinku, and even if I don't see anything, I'll be like still trying to point out mundane stuff like you should be looking for this, Jinku, and check this out here.
It is a little claustrophobic down here for you, Jinku, at this point in this particular pipe. It's not the largest. You kind of have to bend a little bit uncomfortably. You can't really stand all the way up. All right. So Mix, Boo, you two are working together, looking around at these walls, and you notice on the side leading to the north, kind of roughly etched into the wall with yellow of some kind. You're not sure if it's chalk or something else. Is that kind of sun-shaped or that shaped insignia that you saw in the Kenkus? So it's a circle with radiating spikes on all sides, which you have learned to be the symbol of the Xanathar Guild.
Hey, you see this, man?
Yes, I did.
All right. Hey, guys, check this out. I think this might tell us we should go this way.
Is Raynar with us down here?
Oh yeah, Raynar is with you guys. That's right. He did come along with you. You guys kind of made him come along with you.
He's the noble dude, right?
Yes, he isn't too thrilled about being in the sewer, but he's, here at your request, and he's concerned about his friend, so he'll do what he has to. But he's not particularly happy about having to be down here in the muck.
I used prestidigitation to make it worse for him with the dirty and muck.
All right. So Raynar is kind of standing at the back of you guys, kind of looking around, kind of disgustedly, and he looks back down at his clothes, and they're a little kind of dirtier than they were before, and he kind of goes like, kind of in surprise, wondering like I didn't even fall in this shit. Like what? It's truly disgusting.
Come on, guys, this way.
All right. So you guys make your way northwards up this sewer, and you go for probably a good 5 minutes or so, kind of awkwardly making your way with your feet straddling this liquid down the middle, and you eventually come to kind of a larger open area. As like this pipe opens into this area, you start having like a few ledges on the side that you're actually able to like walk upon, and it splits into 3 different directions at this point. At least 3 larger pipes. As you've walked along, there's been other kind of smaller tributary pipes that have come in, but none that were like large enough for a normal sized creature to go through. But here there's clearly several larger conduits that are joining together, 3 of them. One continuing to the north, one kind of going north a little bit and then splitting off to the northeast, and then another one heading west. And then, of course, the one coming up from the south that you guys are coming from.
Okay, let's look around again and see if we can spot any signs this time. Jinku, come on, you didn't do a good job last time. Let me help you.
Mix is getting tired of not being able to see, so he's going to touch Booth and cast light on his shirt, so that he's the one that's all lit up, and because he doesn't feel like carrying anything.
All right, Boo is now glowing.
I will grumble about this. Under my fucking son of a bitch. I will make you pay someday. Come on, Jinku. And I'll deliberately try and be like moving. I'm gonna move in front of Jinku in these tunnels so that the light is blocked because Jinku is larger. Like I'm.
I get what you mean. At this
Okay.
point, like this area is a little larger, so it's kind of hard to find a spot to like be behind her and block fully. But I'm sure once you get back into a smaller tunnel, that would work out.
Got it. I will be doing that. Can we look around?
Yep. Feel free. Yep. Feel free if you want to keep searching for that same sign that you saw before.
And anything else? Like I'm kind of looking for that, but like anything else that kind of looks out of the order.
Sure. All right. So you're all having a look around, kind of checking each of these pipeways. And Boo, with your shirt glowing, this seems to help you quite a bit. And you see on the northeast leading pipe, it almost seems, you can make out the remnants of a yellow mark. Looks like half of it had been like wiped away. But there's enough of it still there that it's distinguishable that there was a mark, and so you deduce that this is probably the way to head off, even with the mark kind of faded away. The other ones don't seem to have any markings of any kind. You do find Blossom. You find kind of leaning against on the western pipe, kind of leaning up against the wall, is kind of a cruddy, kind of muck-covered broom of sorts that's just kind of leaning against the wall, possibly left by one of the cleaner guild that comes down here. Other than that, nothing too particularly interesting.
Well, what's it on? That way. Go on, Jinku.
Okay. I'm in a tunnel.
Yeah, so as you get up into this tunnel heading off northeast, again, this kind of goes back down to kind of the smaller circular tunnel you were in before. You again have to kind of duck your head a bit, Jinku, as you're trying to fit through there. And
Do I hit my head on the ceiling a couple times?
it's not so much hit your head on the ceiling, it's more of like every once in a while your head drags across the ceiling and you get kind of some crud and some moss and stuff kind of stuck to the top of your head.
It's fine. It's exfoliating the top of my head.
There you go. All right, so you head up this way for a ways. This one actually goes on for quite a ways. It takes you probably a good 10-15 minutes of heading along this way before you get to any sort of notable branches. Again, all along the way, various smaller tributaries are coming in. Some of them liquid pouring out of, some of them not.
Do we hear anything, like voices or any sign of life down here?
No, nothing in particular. I mean, again, it's still surprisingly well kept for a sewer or a city of this size. Aside from just your general moss and the smell, but otherwise it's all right. It seems they take good care of their system down here. You do come out eventually after walking for 15 minutes or so. You come to a three-way branch, and let me bring this up here for you. There we go. Okay, so you guys are coming up from the passage on the bottom on this into this three-way. And so you come into this intersection, and there's a ladder leading up to a stone shaft capped by a metal cover up at the top. And in the center of this branch, you see a small, spherical, kind of grapefruit-sized creature floating in the middle of this intersection here. It's got some bulging, it's got like kind of a large bulging central eye in the middle of it, and some stumpy eye stalks, just 4 of them, kind of coming out the top, and it bares its teeth at you as it sees you coming up this way. It kind of goes and kind of bobs up and down.
Do I know what it is?
Go ahead and roll a... Yeah, Arcana. I'll say roll an Arcana check. So, Boo, you know that this is a gazer. So, gazers are... you recall reading about these. They're a manifestation of a beholder's dreams. And so it somewhat resembles the beholder that dreamed it into existence, but they're very small. And the beholder that dreamed it can see through its eyes and can use it in that way. And go ahead and everybody roll up initiative as you walk into this. This gazer kind of floats menacingly in your direction. And we'll get you guys on the table here too.
As it seems to be menacing, I will shout, beware, fellows, it more than just this beast can see through its eyes. Try and put them out if you can. I don't know much about these things, but its bigger friend is much worse.
All right. Yeah, who was in the front? It was Jinku in the front, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let me get everybody visible in here.
I thought Buffut was in the front to spite Mix.
We were trying, but I down this last, like when I said go, I said go on Loxodon and prodded Jinku.
Yeah, I went ahead of him.
Okay, so Jinku, and then Boo, and then Mix or Blossom. Who's taking up the rear?
Mix can be right behind Boo.
Okay, Mix. Oop. And then we'll put Blossom right behind. All right. Everybody see themselves and the gazer and stuff on the map? Okay, sweet. All right, so it looks like we are up with Blossom first. So you can see kind of from the glow coming off of Boo's shirt, you can see this kind of grapefruit-sized creature floating up in the intersection here. Mix is in your way, but you do see that up there. What do you do?
Isn't really nothing I can do but tell Mix to get out of the way.
Okay. I mean, you could try to shove past him. If you wanted to.
Nah.
Okay. So you'll just kind of shout at Mix to move. Uh-oh. Did we just lose Quick? It just said his connection lost. Oh, there we go. Now you're back, I think. That was weird. All right, that brings us to you, Boo. Something's up with your video, Quick. It keeps saying your connection lost.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. It seemed like shit dropped out for a minute there. Sorry about that. I'm back though. Okay, my turn. Do I know if these things can be reasoned with at all, or are they just mad?
They're, I mean, from what you know, they're mad little creatures.
I'll shoot a magic missile at it.
Fire away.
And that's my turn.
All right. On to Jinku.
I am going to shoot an arrow, and I'm aiming for the big center eye.
Okay. Very nice. That hits. All right. That kills it. How does that look? As this arrow shoots through this little gazer.
It just goes like through the middle of the eye and out the back of him, and just a bunch of blood flies everywhere.
All right. So this arrow tears through this gazer here, and leaving kind of a nice hole in the center of its grapefruit-sized self. And you can see the eye stalks on the top kind of waving madly, and it falls out of the air and kind of with a kind of unceremonious squelch just kind of lands on the ground. And that's that.
That's how it's done. Sorry, you guys didn't get to see any action.
Good job, Jinku. That was good. You did well.
I can't find clues, but I can mess shit up.
All right. So now you are alone in this little intersection here.
I want a stalk off of that thing. One of the eye stalks.
Okay. Feel free to peel one off and just add it like a note for it into your inventory or something.
Cool. Well, that is. How much do we know about like Xanathar? I guess we probably didn't investigate them too much, like as a group, before we just dived into their business, did we?
No, you don't really know much about their group. I mean, you've heard like legend of the Xanathar. I mean, he's somewhat well known as a celebrity figure of sorts. But I mean, aside from just the knowledge about the Xanathar, the organization itself, you don't know. I mean, all you really know is just what you've heard of some inter-gang violence going on between the various gangs, like the Xanathars and the Zentarims and some others here in the city. But we don't know too many details.
Well, shall we keep moving, or do you need a rest, Jinku?
I'm good.
All right. Let's see if we can find any more indication, as if this isn't enough here. I'll look around for clues.
Okay.
I will too, even though I haven't been doing so well with that.
Before I roll for that, I'm going to use my healing light and heal Jinku up.
I didn't take any damage.
Nobody took any damage. We never got to the Gazer's turn.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm not
No.
sorry.
She's shown wounded 6.
Oh, that's probably from the last time. So yeah, feel free to heal her up. That's probably from the Kenku fight.
I rolled a 10, so you definitely get that back.
Yay.
All right, so you all look around here, and you can see pretty clearly this one, you know, on the branch leading up to the right. You see that kind of sun-shaped symbol leading up that direction.
I go last and make sure and sully Rainer's armor or Rainer's stuff more. I think that's his name. I have the note.
The noble guy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Raynor.
Raynor.
Yeah, I sully him even more. I would like subtly try and use prestidigitation, even not so subtly, to get him as dirty as possible. I don't like nobles at all. But let's go, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, so you head up this direction. Again, you are walking for quite a decent time this time, about, you know, good 20 minutes or so, slogging through the sewers here, this direction. And partway along the way, like the pipe that you're in bends and curves around and starts heading to the west at some point. And you eventually find yourself in kind of a open, kind of circular hub of sorts between a few different paths. Let me get that up here for you. 1 second. Hold on. Gotta size this down. Yep. Okay. Share. And I'll do a little doodling for you here. So you are coming up this way. So you're heading west. And so you're coming up this long pipe from the east going towards the west. And you find yourself in this kind of little central area. Pull this up here.
You can hold shift and free.
Oh, I can? Oh, that's much nicer.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, that works for now. So yeah, so this main sewer tunnel that you're in kind of expands into a circular hub. You notice that there are some little slits in the walls across from each other. There's one to the northwest, and there's one to the southeast. There's slits in the walls, and there is a stone doorway. Oh, a second, shift, click. There's a ledge to the southwest. Come on, there we go. There's a ledge to the southwest that has a stone doorway kind of set against the wall this way. And then there's also, of course, the sewer continuing down to the south and continuing off to the north as well. There we go. I'll drop you guys in here. Ding. Mix. Boo. Rainer. There we go. Everybody able to see it?
Yep.
Sweet. All right. So yeah, so you're in this little central hub. Slits in the northwest and southeast wall. Door on the west side. Up a little edge.
Well, we've got to find him soon here. Let's keep going.
I guess you all be a little further up here. Okay. There we go. So you're in this kind of central hub area.
You see anything, Jinko?
When you're all coming up this pipeway here together, how would you say you guys are coming along? Like, are you kind of without regard to noise? Like, are you kind of talking amongst each other at normal levels? Are you kind of quietly coming along? Like, how would you say you guys are coming up this pipe?
I think Jinku would be mindful of the noise, not completely silent, but mindful.
Okay.
She comes from kind of a military background, so she knows you got to be stealthy.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay.
I suppose Jinko's probably corrected me by now to be quiet.
Understandable. What do you guys get up to here in this little central area?
You say there's a door up there, Jinko? Is there any symbols on it that you can see?
I don't know. I'll go up and hold my torch near it, see what I can see.
All right, investigate away.
It's a door.
It is a door. It's a stone door, kind of a heavier stone door. Seems to be pretty well kept. Like it's cleaned off. There isn't like moss growing on it. It seems like they've kept good care of it. You don't notice anything straight away.
Do you think this might lead to where we're going?
One way to find out.
Yeah, why don't you four go in there and take a look?
Why don't you come with us?
I'll make sure nobody comes behind, but yeah, I'll follow.
Yeah, And I'll open the door and see what's behind it.
All right. So you open up this door here, and you see kind of a small hallway beyond. Inside of it, you see up to the north end of the hallway as you kind of peer, tilt your head into this little room, and kind of tilt your head in. You see there's another slit in the wall to the north, and then there's another stone door on the western side at the other end of the hall. It's not particularly long, just about 15 feet or so long.
Okay. Probably look through the slit, bring the torch up and see what I can see.
Sure. Go ahead and do a perception check for me. Oof. So
Look a slit.
So, Jinku, you're kind of reaching your torch up here, and as you're trying to peer through this slit, you hear something kind of stir and make kind of a sudden snort of sorts, but nothing else seems to happen. It seems like the light may have somewhat disturbed something, but it didn't seem to think too much of it. A little shortly thereafter, you hear some snoring.
Okay, well, we'll try the next door.
All right. Let's draw this here. Are the rest of you all kind of following in close behind Jenku here, or are you guys all still back out in the kind of central hub area?
If she steps, like I've been watching through the door, if she steps into the other door, I'll come into the room and get to where I can keep an eye on her.
Okay. All right. So Jinku, you push this stone door open. It kind of makes a low kind of grating noise as you're pushing this inwards, and you see in the room beyond it, there's a hallway that kind of heads up to the north a little ways, and this kind of larger room that you see immediately to the south of you appears to be a bit messy. It has some various articles of kind of threadbare clothing littering the area. There's various rusty weapons, some kind of busted crates. Nothing particularly of value from what you're seeing. Just kind of a mishmash of kind of random detritus.
Okay, well, none of that is really of much interest to me, so I will continue upward.
Okay. Roll a stealth check for me as you're heading this way. All right. So as you are coming around this corner with your torch, again, as you come around the corner, you hear another kind of a snort of sorts, and you see illuminated in the back of this room, kind of towards where the slits are two sleeping goblin guards. Both of them are sitting on little stools. They're have some bow and some quivers of arrows sitting nearby. Both of them are kind of leaning back on these stools that they have against the wall, and have seemed to have dozed off.
Okay, well, I'd like to try to sneak by him and continue on.
Okay.
Are you guys all following me?
Yeah, don't let you get too far. I'm kind of...
Okay. Did you relay the information about these goblins to the rest of the party?
Yeah, I'd say I probably very quietly informed him.
Okay. So are the rest of you taking that into account as you move into this room at all? Okay.
Yeah, I'd be...
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you're gonna continue moving northward here, go ahead and roll a stealth check as you're passing through this room. Well, Jenku, you already did yours. You don't need to do yours again. Oh, I guess I need to do Raynor. Quick, how do you roll skills for like NPC characters? They don't have like a skills tab. Oh, I guess I just roll like a...
Stealth is a dex check.
Oh, that's right. So I just roll it to dex. That's
Besides the proficiencies, the bonus or the checks in D&D really just are a bunch of different stat saving throws.
Oh, there we go. Now we did check. Okay. Blossom, are you following up everybody else, or are you still out in the central area? Did we lose Blossom?
No, I'm here. What's going on?
Oh, as you are, so you guys are all kind of heading across this room here. Jinku had seen there's two sleeping. Actually, I'll put them on the map here so you can see them. There's two sleeping goblin guards against the wall here. They both are kind of leaning back on their stool chairs against the wall and just kind of dozed off. Everybody's rolling stealth as they're going across the room here. So if you want to roll a stealth for me, that would be super. Sweet. All right, you all managed to quietly sneak past the guards in this room. And the pipe going north to south is the sewer pipe. You head down a few stairs once you get past this room with the goblins, and the pathway goes a little lower and heads back to the east, seemingly underneath the sewer pipe above it here. And as you keep moving forward, you find another, middle-ish size empty room. This one has a few tattered straw-stuffed mattresses kind of strewn around the room in various corners. Nothing in particular value.
I go through this shit looking for anything. I make sure there's nothing that.
Okay. So you kind of rifle through these various kind of tattered sleeping mats on the floor, and there really is just nothing worthwhile at all. It's just kind of cruddy cloth and straw and things of that nature. Nothing notable.
I want to go through the next door there.
Okay. All right, so you push open this door, and you find in this room, as you're pushing open the door, Jinku, as you're pushing open this stone door, you hear voices in this room talking. And as you're pushing this door open and it's grating against the ground, they stop. And as you kind of just walk into this room, you see there is a... Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. There is a Durgar on the one end of the room, and he's talking to a human who you recognize as the one who had gotten in a bit of a tussle with a tussle at the tavern earlier. The bandit group that you had run into. You recognize him. He seems to have his various wounds that he'd had from that battle kind of all bandaged up. And they're conversing with each other, and they stop as you enter the room. Jakku just kind of waltzing right in. And everybody roll initiative. Okay. Should be able to see those now. There we go. All right, so that brings us to... Oh, wait, I gotta... There we go. All right, Blossom, you're up first. You saw Jakku go through the door on the other side of this room, and... You heard some voices coming through the door, and Jakku kind of unsheathing her weapon. So you assume something's going on, and you're at the other end of this sleeping room here with Raynar behind you. What do you do?
Let's see, I'll move up to the doorway and
Okay.
ready an attack.
All right. Anything else on your turn?
Yes, I will billow my cloak.
All right. You billow your cloak fashionably. Your hairless body kind of glinting in the torchlight as you do so. Anything else?
That is everything.
All right. Jakku, you wandered right into the room on these guys. What are you doing?
So I'm gonna kind of just make myself look as big as possible, kind of puff my chest out, kind of flex my arms, and just hold my hand axe. I'm not going to attack them, I'm just gonna have it ready in case they attack us, and I'm just gonna look them dead in the eye and deep scary voice say, "Don't do anything stupid."
All right. Brings us to Raynar. So Raynar sees Blossom, running forward into the other room, and assumes something's going on. So he, being the noble that he is, doesn't want to get in too much trouble, but still wants to help in some way. And he kind of moves up through the room and kind of positions himself against the wall on the side of this door with his sword out, just kind of seemingly readying himself for if something comes through the door. And he turns and kind of looks at, Mix and Boo as you're standing there and goes, I think you might have better luck than I do in this situation. And that brings us to Boo.
I'll curse at the noble. And move. We go to stand in the doorway. As I move past Mix, I will tell him, dispel your light, idiot. You're making me a target. If you don't, I will kill you. And then I will... I'll cast Toll of the Dead on the Dorgar.
Okay.
They're getting ready to hurt us, right? They look like they're about to come out.
So from when you pop into this room and are looking at these guys, they both seem to have had weapons already out, And you keep noticing them glancing at the door on the northern side. And you notice there's a bunch of blankets and various other pieces of fabric that they seem to have been trying to haphazardly stuff under the edge of this northern door. And so like they keep like looking at you guys as you busted into this room here, but they also kind of keep sending glances back behind them at these blankets on the floor. So it seems they were in the middle of doing something when you just casually waltzed in here.
He was in the opposing gang, not the Xanathar gang, right? If I remember right, that when we saw him.
Yes. He was.
Okay, so I will say, I think we might be after the same thing, or at least not entirely against each other. If you don't move, I won't have to kill you, and I will prepare Toll of the Dead, but I will not if they're hostile to us, then I'll cast Toll of the Dead. But other than that, I'll hold.
Okay. All right. That brings us to Kremps. So, Kremps, he recognizes you all from earlier when you had jumped in and wailed on his dudes. So he isn't too happy to see you guys. But he also doesn't seem too happy about whatever is going on in this room to the north. There seems like like I said, you seem to have stumbled onto them in the middle of something. He kind of gives like a sidelong look to his Durgar friend here, and you hear him mutter under his breath. They might be able to take care of it. And you see him kind of move towards this other door here. Still with his scimitar at the ready. He still has it out, kind of pointing at all of you as he moves this way. But he seems to be looking more interested in leaving. That brings us to Mix.
Mix is gonna move into the room. Actually, he can't do even that. He's kind of stuck. He's half tempted to recast light on Boot, but he's gonna go ahead and dispel that and prepare Eldritch Blast if something comes through the door or he needs to use.
Okay. All right, so that brings us to the Durgar in the room. So he also is kind of, every once in a while, kind of glancing at this door to the north here. But he, isn't too happy to see strangers in, it seems to be something related to this guild. You don't belong here. And he actually, raises up Jinku, you're kind of surprised to see that he seems to increase in size almost as you're looking at him. In Durgar, they're typical, similar to dwarves in size. And he seems to grow a little taller and get a little thicker. And he gets a... Let's see here. He continues to grow, actually, until he's actually taller than you, Jinku. He kind of expands upwards, and his head almost hitting the roof of this little room that he's in. And, now he's standing probably a good foot or two above your own head. And he kind of, as he finishes this kind of growth spurt towards the roof of this room, he pulls out, he already had out this war pick in one hand, and he kind of spins it around above his head and, kind of menacingly in your direction, and that is the end of his turn. Which brings us to Raynar. Raynar in the other room, seeing everybody kind of crowded around the door here. He is concerned about his friend, but he is also kind of concerned about his own ass. And he kind of leans towards Mix, and he can't really get a good view of what's going on. He kind of leans towards you, Mix, and goes, "Is it going well in there, friend?" And he continues to kind of hold his weapon up and lean against this wall here in some sort of attempt at helping.
Mix is just going to shrug his shoulders.
All right. All right. Kremps, he sees his friend enlarge over here, and seeing that his friend is about to get into it, he had his hand on the door before, but he hadn't expected to see this growth in size, and he seems a little bit more confident now, seeing his Duergar friend so large. And he decides to run at you, Jinku, as you're kind of staring in amazement at this gigantic Duergar. Crap, how do I get this to... I can't seem to control click.
What you trying to do?
I'm trying to get Kremps to target Jinku, and I can't seem to get it to do so.
I'll control click in the combat tracker will do it sometimes.
Control click. Oh, there it goes. Now it worked. For some reason it didn't a second ago. So he charges at you, Jinku, as you kind of seem to be caught off guard by this Duergar, and slashes at you with this scimitar, seemingly enjoying taking a hit on you for the trouble you'd caused him earlier. And he kind of grins and kind of goes, "I hope you felt that." And that is his turn, which brings us to Jinku.
I told you not to do anything stupid. And then Jinku is gonna pull her flail out and hit this bastard.
All right, hit away. All right, so you swing this flail around, kind of whips through the air, gives him a good smack. Roll that damage, Jinku. Boom. Jinku was not kidding with her warning.
Jinku does not kid about combat.
Yeah, and so Krebs, he already wasn't looking too good. Like, he still had all these bandages on him from earlier. I mean, that was just earlier in the day. That was a few hours ago. So he was still pretty beat up. And he just crumples over to the ground with this flail hitting into him. All right, that brings us to Boo. So, Boo, you had seen through the door here that you were standing in. This Duergar just grew enormous, standing in the opposite corner now. If I could figure out how to make the token bigger, I would.
Control and then scroll.
Oh, there we go. There we go. That's about large. Big ass Duergar in the corner.
I will say do you plan to help us with whatever's coming through that door, or do I need to kill you first? It's up to you.
He seeing that Jinku had just walloped Kremps over, he shouts back at you, "Well, I hope it eats you too!"
I'll hold if he hurts anybody in the party, I'll I'll blast him with Toll of the Dead, but I'm not gonna attack him just.
All right. So that brings us to the Dorgar. So he steps forward at Jinku here and raises his war pick. Oop. Where'd you go? And swings this down in your direction and misses wildly. As kind of tings into the stone on the floor. Seems a little off balance from this growth spurt he just had. Maybe he's not so used to being such a large size all the time.
Jinku just laughs at him.
All right, and that brings us to Mix.
Do I get a zap him because he hurt or he attacked?
Oh yeah, that's right. You had held that. So yeah, go ahead and fire that off.
Okay.
All right. So that was that Toll of the Dead that you were casting, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so you kind of jingle this bell as his war pick tings into the ground, and doesn't seem to have much of an effect on him. Just kind of the ringing kind of peters out and doesn't seem to go anywhere. Right, Mix. All right, Mix unleashes his Eldritch Blast. What does your Eldritch Blast look like, Mix?
A bolt of energy fires out of my hand and smacks into this guy.
All right, so this energy flies across, crackling over this large Durgar, kind of lightening up his kind of dark-hued skin as the energy radiates. And he kind of groans a bit and kind of steps backwards slightly from this hit. And as this kind of crackling dies away from this hit, you see over in the corner. Let me remove Crimps here. Get out of here, Crimps. You see from under the door, like the blankets kind of move out of the way, and you see this kind of dark gray ooze kind of seemingly spreading out from under this door. And let me show this up on the map here. There we go. So yeah, so this gray ooze is kind of spreading out through the door. And as this is spreading through, this Duergar kind of looks over his shoulder and kind of looks at Kremps on the floor and says, "I told him that wouldn't work." And this ooze kind of coagulates into itself in front of this door here. Which brings us to Blossom.
Step up beside Jinku and I'm going to attack at the giant.
Alright, attack away.
Why is dropping the dice on the new token not working?
If you control click and target him and do it, does that work?
No.
I was having to do it in the combat tracker for him for some reason.
How do I, if I'm doing it for him, how do I do that?
If he were to just...
There we go. I see it. Target's Durgar. There we go. Roll away, Blossom. Alright, so you swing over your head at this Durgar kind of towering above you, and he manages to, swing or move his arm backwards out of the way as that swings past, missing him. Which brings us to Blossom again. You get another swing. This passes by, and you kind of feel your kind of energy surge here, and you feel ready to take another hit or take another swing. And that hits true this time. Roll that damage. Very nice. Alright, so you swing down on this Durgar, and with a nice solid hit from your great axe. Missing that first time kind of pissed you off, it seems. And he takes a nice, nasty gash across his leg, his right leg that was still a little forwards. You didn't manage to move that out of the way. And that spurting quite a bit of blood out of his thigh at the moment. And that brings us to Raynar. Raynar still can't really get through what's going on, but he does move. He decides to move over against the wall behind Mix and try to get more of a view. He seems a little bit shaken by some of the sounds he seems to hear coming from inside this room. But he still seems determined to help as best he can, and continues holding an attack. Jinku.
Damn.
All right, so you swing your flail around in the air, and mid-swing, you kind of lean your arm back too far and hit your twirling flail on the wall behind you, and it just kind of kills the momentum entirely. You just completely biff it. Mix.
I'm gonna fire Eldritch Blast again and
Zap away. And that misses. Alright, so that Eldritch Blast hits wide and kind of zaps into the stonework behind him in the wall, kind of knocking a few little small bits of stone away as it, kind of hits an old crusty brick. And boo.
I'll cast Toll of the Dead on this Durgar.
And his save fails. Your bell takes hold. Very nice. Alright, so you just ring your little bell here, and the hand that isn't holding his war pick, he kind of claps up to his ear and kind of reels a little bit. And he isn't looking too good with that. Which brings us to him. So he... Oop. Oop. There we go. So he decides to take a swing at Blossom, since he had just taken a good chunk out of him with this axe. There you at. There you are. So he swings his war pick down in your direction, and he misses. The rapid size change and the damage you guys have dealt to him seem to be throwing him a bit off, and he isn't on his A game right now. Which brings us to the ooze. So the ooze in the corner, it moves up, and it reaches out one of its pseudopods, and it's kind of extending out of this ooze and kind of wraps around the back leg of this Durgar. And let's see if that takes. And that hits. And manages to knock this Durgar unconscious. So this pseudopod tentacle coming out of this ooze, wraps around this leg, and you can see it kind of starts pulling this large Durgar backwards, And as this Duergar dies, you can see his kind of size shrinking back down to a normal Duergar size. And he starts to be kind of slowly enveloped by this ooze in the middle of the room here. Which brings us to Jinku. Get rid of you.
I think Jinku is gonna hold for right now. We'll attack if the ooze gets closer.
Okay. All right. Raynar, he heard this Duergar fall over as you guys have killed it, and he kind of lets out a little cheer from the back, and you hear him go, you know, take it to them! And he kind of cheers you guys on from the back of this room. Still can't seem to get through because nobody's moved at all. And that brings us to Boo.
Toll the dead on this ooze.
Toll the dead away. And that ooze manages to pass the save. Does not seem to have any effect.
That's my turn.
Alright, Blossom.
My curiosity's gonna be better than me. Move up a little bit
Okay.
and ready an attack.
Okay.
That thing gets too close to me.
Just an attack with your battle axe?
Yes.
Okay. Alright. That brings us to Mix.
Mix still can't move in, but he's gonna fire off an Eldritch Blast at the ooze.
Alright, blast away. And that hits. Alright, so your Eldritch Blast crackles across the room between Blossom and Jinku. They kind of dodge a little bit as this zaps between them. And you see this electricity kind of emanating around this ooze and kind of crackling through its liquid form, and seems to do a little bit of damage to it. Alright, that brings us to the ooze. And the ooze moves up and kind of again reaches out with one of its pseudopods towards Jinku here.
Do I get to attack it since I held till it?
You do. As this moves into your attack of opportunity range, feel free to roll that while I'm getting this set up here. That hits. Nice. So you take this flail, swing it around your head, and kind of bring it against this ooze. And some bits of it are kind of splatting off in various areas as this spinning flail kind of tears into the side of it, doing a decent bit of damage. Alright, that brings us to the ooze, who reaches out with its pseudopod here at Jinku, manages to hit, dealing 11 damage to Jinku, and Jinku appears to fall unconscious from this ooze touching her.
When I fall to the floor, does it shake?
It does a little bit. And that brings us to Blossom.
I'm going to move forward and attack.
Attack away. That hits. Oh, very nice. So you bring your great axe down on this ooze, and square in the middle of it. It just and this Duergar that it just killed is still kind of like it's in this ooze as well, and you just kind of cleave both the ooze and the Duergar that was in it in half. It just both of them just kind of fall to pieces here, and that goes away. All right. I believe. Hold on, let me double check here. Blossom, you notice as. I guess this would be applying to Jinku too. Hold on. You're out of combat now. Do any of you attend to Jinku at all?
Yeah, I'll come in and grunt at Mix. And I'll say, come on, Mix. I can't fix this. Bring her back. I'll not have you let another one of my apprentices die.
I use Healing Light and give her 2 hit points. That's all I got left.
Thank you, friend.
All right, so Jinku, you're back up. You have 2 hit points.
Oh boy.
Woohoo. As you're getting back up, hold on here. Raynar kind of rushes in here, seeing that you had gone down, and he kind of digs around in his pack here and pulls out a small potion and hands it to you, Jinku, to help out a bit. Where are... Hold on. All right, here we go. So he hands you a potion of healing, Jinku, in gratitude for your assistance. So you can feel free to use that if you like, if you're feeling...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead and roll 2d4 plus 2.
How do I do that again?
For 2d4, click on click and hold your d4 to roll it. Right click to get 2 of them. Chuck it in the chat and get that, and then just add 2 to it, and then add that to your health. So 6, 8. So heal yourself for 8.
I'll clean his shirt. When he does that, I'll say thank you and touch him and clean his shirt with prestige.
He kind of gratefully nods back at you. He says, "Oh, that would have been a pain for the cleaning lady to try to get out. I appreciate it."
Yes, you think instantly of your slave, don't you?
He kind of looks at you kind of puzzled and rolls his eyes a little bit. All right. And it is... Actually, we're at the halfway mark right now, so this is a good time to take our quick little bio break after that fight. So we'll be back in about 10 minutes or so. So eat a snack, get a drink, take a whiz. See you in just a bit. video back on. There we go. All right, so yes, so you find yourself in this room. You know, the ooze and the parts of this Durgar, you know, litter the floor over here. There's the door to the north with the kind of slimy now blankets kind of spread out in front of it here, and then another door on the eastern wall as well.
Is there anything on the bodies of Krantz or...
Oh, sure. Let me pull them back up here.
I don't particularly want to check through the ooze. I'm pretty wary of that, but I'll look on.
So you look over Cramps and what remains of this Durgar, and there is nothing particular of note, no particular treasures or anything.
Well, they were running from the thing down this north hallway. They were trying to escape through the south hall. Or perhaps back the way we came. I'm not quite sure. What door do you think we should go through, oh nobleman? Maybe
Well,
you should lead us, coward.
all right, fair enough. I mean, with the help you guys have given so far, it's only fair that I do my share. So he walks up and decides to open up this northern door, kind of daintily pushing these kind of slimy blankets and pieces of fabric that have been stuffed under the door out of the way, and opens it up. And this room beyond appears to be a lavatory. As you kind of all peer into this room here from the light, the kind of slime-covered remains of a couple goblins seem to be in here. It seems this ooze crawled up from wherever through the shithole in the floor and ate these goblins and then came onward. So
Nice.
check the toilet before you sit. Good advice. But other than that, nothing particularly of note. It's just a shithole in the floor.
Well, shall we check door number 2, Janku? Mix.
Yeah.
All right. So, you'd all go over to open door number 2, and you've won a new car. No.
That's not very nice to get our hopes up.
Sorry. So you open this door beyond, and you see Boo. You're able to see at least because you got dark vision. This hallway is fairly dark, but you can see down at the end that it opens up into a large room, and there is some light down there. But you can't quite make out clearly what's in this room. You kind of see some figures in the distance from the kind of dank atmosphere down here. But you can't quite make out what they are from where you're at.
Hold. An idea just occurred to me that we could do, and it might keep us out of a little bit of trouble.
Yeah? What's your idea?
I'll reach into a pocket and pull out this little, it's kind of kicking. Its hands are bound. And it's this kind of stocky looking blue humanoid figure. And I'll unbind its little hands and I'll sit on the ground and put it on the ground, and then it'll run off down the hallway to the south,
Okay.
and I'll be looking through its eyes.
Okay. Is this thing trying to be sneaky as it moves down here at all? Or is it just kind of...
Yeah, yeah. I imagine he's like a nasty. Like, I know he's my familiar, but I imagine he's probably a nasty little bastard too. He's a fiend, so he's probably sneaky. And
How big is he?
He's tiny.
Okay.
So maybe like 6 inches at most.
Okay.
I mean, they can be spiders too, but I think he's
Okay.
a little humanoid guy. So maybe not 6 inches, maybe like 3 or 4.
Okay, still a tiny dude. Okay. All right. So you kind of send him running off down this hall. And you see through his eyes as he's kind of getting up to the end of this here. So you see this kind of curving off this way. And you manage to make out the rest of the room down here. And so, seeing through your familiar's eyes, you can see there's these kind of large curtains that hang on the east side of the wall of this very long hall. And you see in the middle of the room, kind of on the far end, there's a muscular-looking half-orc in robes that has his foot on the chest of a male human with wavy red blonde hair. And this half-orc standing over him, there's this fire kind of burning around one of his clenched fists as he's holding it over this man on the floor. And the man on the floor is just squirming and screaming and letting out quite a racket, kind of helplessly beneath him, being like, "I'm sorry, I don't know anything, I don't know what you want. What do you want from me?" And you also see, let me make sure you can see both of these guys. Okay. And you also see, on the very south end of this room, the platform, like, it kind of raises up. It's kind of a little dais of sorts. And there is a fairly nice chair on this dais. And a chill kind of runs through yourself as you're looking at this through your familiar. It's kind of a nightmarish figure sitting on this chair. Black robes, large white eyes, rubbery purple skin, 4 tentacles encircling its inhuman mouth. And it's kind of sitting on this chair, cradling and kind of gently caressing what looks to be a disembodied brain with feet. I'll give you a nice little picture of this here.
I love this image in my head here. Oh, this is gross.
Oh, look at the little brain.
They're cute, though.
They are. They're adorable.
So yes, so seeing this through your familiar's eyes, your blood kind of runs cold. Seeing this figure seated on the other end of this room, you've heard legend of these before, and they are not nice.
Okay, so I'll bring my familiar back after seeing, like, pretty much as soon as I spot that business. There. And I will... if you could see me, I'd be pale as shit. And I will just immediately say to Reinar, I'll say, the price you were paying us to help you out here has doubled. There's... I mean, I probably recognize that. What kind of creature that is, right? That's a mind flayer.
Oh yeah. Oh okay. Yeah. You know that's a mind flayer.
I figured they were iconic. Okay, so I will say there appears to be a mind flayer and an orc, but I see your friend. What do we do, guys?
Reinar kind of goes pale at this as well. I mean, he's heard of these too, and he kind of solemnly looks at you all, says, "Well, if you're able to rescue my friend, I will gladly pay double. I'll do what I can to help."
I don't think we can kill a mind flayer, guys. Perhaps we need to talk our way out.
Oh, Boot, you forget that I'm completely resistant to psychic damage.
You are. You arrogant
That's handy.
creature. I am not. Neither is the Loxodon or that glorious Tabaxi there. And this noble isn't resistant to, well, anything.
Raynor kind of lets out a nervous chuckle.
I trust Boo in this situation.
This might get you killed, but I think we might, well, be wary to approach carefully. And perhaps we can bargain our way out of this. Maybe we could trade Reinar and get Floon. Volo's interested in Floon, not Reinar, right, guys?
Yeah.
Raynor kind of looks offended by this. So, all this way to help my friend, and you would turn me over to that thing?
Well, yeah, it would help your friend.
It's business. Okay, I think Reinar should stay here, and we should... Do you guys think we should maybe try talking, or should we run in blazing?
I think you got the right idea. I think let's try talking our way out first.
I'm gonna prepare my Witch Bolt spell, and the second something moves, I'm zapping that off.
Mix, you should do the talking for us, but let's go. I will walk side by side with Jinko.
Sounds good.
So you want me in the front?
I want you to do the talking. I want you in the front. You know better than that. I've told you how many times? Stay behind me. So, like, I guess I'll kind of step into the room and initially just, and I want, like, I don't know if I said it. I was thinking it, but I think Reinar needs to stay back. If they think we don't want them to know he's with us. I think. For now, unless we
that's a fair point.
I will place I will bind its hands, but I will place my familiar on his shoulder.
Okay.
And I will tell him that I will notify him if he is to come.
Okay. So as you guys are kind of coming up these stairs here, kind of up into this larger room, the kind of disembodied brain with feet kind of jumps out of the hands of this mind flayer sitting at the other end, and kind of stands at the top of the stairs after this dais and kind of makes some weird noises, and just from familiarity with with dogs, seems to have noticed your presence and seems to be kind of whatever hackles a disembodied brain might have, raise them in your direction. And at this, the mind flayer as well also stands up, seeing you all enter the room, and he starts making his way towards a pair of double doors on the western side. And he kind of casts a look on the ground at this half-orc that's threatening the hell and torturing this dude on the floor, Floon, and kind of makes his way that direction. And this orc sees you coming in here, still has his fist raised over Floon. He'd, given him a whack in the time that you were walking up the hall. He seems more interested in finishing Floon off first before dealing with anybody else.
Mix. Distract him. I'll jab Mix with my elbow.
Sir, Mr. Orc, we kind of need that guy. Shall we make an arrangement to pay for him?
Well, he certainly doesn't seem to be worth much information. But the insult he has done to us by being brought here with and not divulging anything he knows, it is worthy of death. And he kind of lets go of Floon kind of roughly, and Floon kind of is kind of crumpling onto the floor, whimpering weakly. And this orc kind of raises his fists in kind of a readied position, and they both kind of ignite with flame. And everybody go ahead and roll up initiative.
Can I fire off my witch bolt first?
At who?
The orc.
Sure. If you'd readied that, that's fine.
Oh, I readied that before I came in the room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he did say that. Oh, initiative.
Well, shit.
All right. And so that witch bolt zaps wide, kind of zaps into one of these curtains against the far wall here, and kind of they're already fairly tattered looking, and this curtain against the wall just kind of crumples. You can see there's actually kind of a passageway beyond it now, but that curtain is toast. All right, so top of the order is with Blossom. So you've got this half-orc standing here over Floon. You've got this mind flayer heading towards these double doors, and this weird little brain thing up on the dais.
I look at the others and ask, we talk or fight?
I don't think we have a choice. I think we're gonna have to kill him. At least the orc. Try not to anger the mind flame.
Alright. I'll billow my cloak, move up to the orc, and attack.
All right. Swing away. All right, and that misses. Your axe comes swinging down, and he manages to kind of deftly dodge, keeping his kind of flaming fists up here, as he gets out of the way of your strike. Boo.
I will cast Toll of the Dead on the orc.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So that brings us to this Mind Flayer who, moves towards this door. And as he does, seeing Blossom having run up here, kind of reaches out its hand towards Blossom. And Blossom, you... Here, hold on. Let me get... Come on. There we go. So, Blossom, as this Mind Flayer reaches his hand out towards you, you feel this kind of strange feeling come over your mind. You feel like this Mind Flayer is a close friend of yours. You've known him for quite some time. Seems like a nice chap. And you kind of wonder what these other 3 of your compatriots here are doing here. You suddenly feel not so friendly towards your friends. And this, this Mind Flayer, having dominated your mind here, passes through these double doors and out of sight. And Blossom, like you just taken a swing at this half orc here, and you, for now at least, you don't feel that you have any animosity towards this half orc right now. You're currently charmed, I guess is the way. You're charmed. You've been charmed by this Mind Flayer. And that brings us to the Intellect Devourer. So this Intellect Devourer, he kind of bounds up here. He's not very large. Like they're fairly small creatures. I mean, they're the size of a brain with feet. And he runs up, and seeing that Blossom seems to be someone in this state of just charmed confusion by this Mind Flayer. Let's see. Alright, so you feel, your brain's already feeling a little strange at the moment, Blossom. And you feel this kind of new presence trying to press into your mind. And you manage to stave it off. You manage to... And you're still charmed by this Mind Flayer, but you manage to keep this second presence in your mind from taking over. And that brings us to Jinku.
I am going to throw my hand axe at the cute little brain puppy.
All right. And that misses. Your axe flies and kind of clatters against the wall behind this Intellect Devourer. It kind of turns and looks at you and kind of shakes a little bit in your direction, making some kind of weird noises as it does so.
I was distracted by its cuteness.
Alright, that brings us to Grimshar. So he, has seen this Mind Flayer at work before, and he doesn't feel that you're too much of a threat at the moment, and more of a help right now, Blossom. So he steps past you and kind of steps a little bit forward, and he casts... You see kind of a shimmer. The rest of you see kind of a shimmer in the air in front of him. You aren't quite sure what happened, but there's this kind of shimmer in the air in front of him that appears for a second. And he again kind of readies his fists with these flames on them, kind of in your direction. And that brings us to Mix.
Mix is going to throw an Eldritch Blast at the orc.
Okay. Zap away. Very nice. That hits. So, this Eldritch Blast... Oh, I guess it didn't target him. I'll manually apply that damage here. So this Eldritch Blast zaps through the air. There, I got it. Alright, and manages to hit Grimshar, this half-orc here. You notice that as it's zipping towards him, the air in front of him kind of shimmers a bit, but your Eldritch Blast manages to make it through whatever was there and strikes him quite solidly, actually. And that brings us to Raynar, who is at the back. Has your familiar notified him of anything or to come at all?
Realistically, mechanically, that takes an action on my part.
Oh, does it?
Yep.
Okay. So Raynar, as far as he is concerned, continues staying back here at the moment at this door, waiting for any word, since, he was the one they were looking for in the first place. Which brings us to Jinku.
I feel like Jinku didn't even go last time.
Jinku checked the hand axe.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
At the little brain puppy, but I missed.
Brain puppy.
So now I'm gonna try to shoot it with an arrow.
Alright. Why is that rolling at disadvantage?
I don't know.
Because she's unconscious.
Oh yeah, you didn't. That's still on me.
Oh.
Well, that's what I mean. Well, I mean, I guess the average hand.
How do I clear that unconscious effect?
Click the little, boot with the wing on it on her on the combat tracker, and then click the little delete button next to the unconscious.
Ah. Okay. That's back. Alright. So that would have... Well, go ahead and roll that again with... We'll see if that takes this time. Okay. Now that you're conscious, you managed to be able to shoot a bow again. Surprise. Alright, so your arrow thunks into this brain puppy. I love it. And, it kind of lets out this kind of weird hiss noise as this thuds into, one of its lobes here. And that brings us to the Mind Flayer, who you can no longer see. He doesn't do anything that you are able to notice. Raynar, still waiting back up by the door, hasn't heard any word from Boo. But it is now Boo's turn.
I'll cast Toll the Dead on the orc.
Okay.
I killed it.
Very nice. Alright, so your Toll of the Dead rings out true on this orc here. And it crumples to the ground at this damage coming in to its head from this toll. All right. That brings us to Mix.
I'm gonna blast at the little mind puppy.
Blast the Mind Puppy. That hits.
I don't know why it rolled twice.
Oh, it did roll twice. I guess the first one missed. So we'll have to go with that one since that was first. Alright, so that crackles through the air, crackling right past Blossom, who is currently facing your direction, seemingly hostile towards you at the moment for some reason. And that crackles into the wall on the far side. So, Blossom, you're currently charmed. Quick, have you ever dealt with anybody being charmed? I'm not quite sure how to, like, do this. So, like, I mean, with being charmed, I mean, like, he's had the direction from this Mind Flayer generally to attack these people. And I assume, like, would he just do, like, whatever his normal attack is towards, like, a randomly determined person? Or, like, I'm trying to think of how... Because, like, I'm not quite sure how to deal with this since it's, like, taking over a PC character.
So it's not mind control. Charmed is not mind control.
Yeah.
Charmed creatures can't attack the charmer, they can't target the charmer, and then they have advantage on, you know, the charmer as on there. But he would regard the Mind Flayer as a friendly acquaintance.
Yep.
But it's still not mind control. It's not, unless it was a dominate person.
It was dominate person.
Oh yeah, then it's just whatever. If it's dominate person, that's and what was the directive that he was given?
To attack the intruders.
Yeah, then he would use his attack to attack the intruders.
Okay. And like with stuff like dominate person, like would he like re-roll that save to try like overcome that, or is he just stuck dominated until this Flayer releases him? Because I know, like, with one thing, like, with dominate person, like, it only works as long as they're on the same plane of existence, but he's not going to another plane of existence. So...
it's if it takes damage, the creature takes damage, it saves again.
So if Blossom
if
takes
we
damage...
start wailing on Blossom, he'll save again.
Okay. So for now, it'd just be kind of, roll like a d4 and he'll attack one of you guys, pretty much. Just kind of randomly
that's how you want to determine it, yeah.
Okay, I'd say that. Okay. So we'll do 1, 2, 3. Alright, so Blossom, you feel, this control, this Mind Flayer has dominated over you. And you feel the urge to run at Mix here. And you raise your great axe at your friend Mix here. Go ahead and roll... go ahead and roll your great axe for me, Blossom. And we'll see how that goes.
I find this very lame that I can't choose who I attack.
Alright, okay, we'll let you choose. Why not? As you're dominated by this Mind Flayer and have been told to attack your friends here, which one do you feel the most animosity towards?
The little one looks like a mouse.
Alright. So you're gonna take a swing at Boo then?
Yes.
Alright, we'll go with it. And that misses.
I don't know why it rolled twice.
Because you still had Mix targeted.
Oh. Well, either way, they both missed. Boo, you're okay. You manages to dodge out of the way of this Tabaxi coming at you with his great axe. Alright. Brain puppy. Alright, so this brain puppy... Thank you, Jiku, for the terminology. I love it.
You're welcome.
So, the brain puppy bounds up with its little self. And... it... Oop. Hold on. Wait, your arrow hit it, right? That's weird. It should have more damage than that. Hold on, let me manually apply that arrow damage that you shot from earlier, Jinku. For some reason.
Partially resisted it.
Oh, that's why. Okay, I thought it was larger. I didn't notice the partial resistance. Okay, so that's correct then. Alright, so this Intellect Devourer... It... Oh, whoops. Wrong target. Yep. Target Jinku. Alright, here we go. Alright, so this Intellect Devourer, you see this brain puppy bounding up to you. It's weirdly cute, you know, as it's heading towards you. And you feel this kind of presence pushing into your mind here as this Intellect Devourer, well, does what it's called. It devours your intellect. And you suddenly feel incredibly bliss because you feel incredibly at bliss because you are so ignorant of the world right now. Your intelligence is currently 0. So you are just happy in your ignorance right now.
Just like, ooh, puppy. So cute.
Pretty much. Alright. So that brings us to the top with Blossom. Are you still trying to go after Boo?
Yes, I want to get the mouse.
Boo, I'll give you a chance here as a reaction to have your familiar talk to Raynar.
You can't talk to Raynar. The familiar can't talk. It licks him in the ear.
Okay.
Like Wet Willy, but with his tongue.
Okay. Alright, so Blossom, you take another swing here at Boo, and Boo manages to step backwards out of the way from your hip. And we'll let you get your little lick in from your familiar to Raynar in the back to let him know something's up. Lovely, quick, lovely. Alright, so Raynar, he's been leaning here against this wall, against this door, and this little strange creature that's been sitting on his shoulder that he kind of regards with somewhat disgust, this kind of weird little thing, suddenly licks him. And he doesn't quite know what to think of this, but he figures that this is at least some kind of signal. And he bursts through the door here and comes running down the hall and, you know, shouting, "For House Never Ember!" And he runs up behind you, Jinku, with his rapier at the ready. Which brings us to you, Boo.
Now he's ready. Now you're ready. Now you come. Well, Blossoms in Summer is coming at me, and I'm defending myself. So I will cast Toll the Dead on Blossom.
Okay. Alright, and Blossom manages to succeed against that Toll of the Dead. Would you making that attack be something that would trigger him to save against that Dominate?
It's when they take damage.
It's only
The
damage?
spell reads each time the target takes damage. Yeah.
Okay.
This Dominate person is a nasty bastard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is an interesting fight to chuck at level 1 people. That is for sure. So, Jinku, you're feeling real heckin' dumb right now.
Yeah, I am. I kind of imagine I'm just like looking around with like a goofy ass grin on my face, but basically doing nothing else.
Just too stupid to care.
Just very, very excited to be here, but I have no idea why. Like, probably the puppy. Just love that puppy.
Alright. Alright, so this... Oh, I pushed next too soon. The Intellect Devourer seems kind of elated at all this intellect that it's got right now. And it kind of bounds around happily in a circle here on the ground after it's consumed your intellect. It doesn't really do much else. Mix?
Mix is gonna fire at the Intellect Devourer, kind of chuckling that one of our parties attacking Boot. He finds that absolutely hilarious.
That hits. Oh, nice. All right, you roll a 10 on that Eldritch Blast. This crackles between Boo and Blossom. Maybe singeing them both a little bit as it passed. It's so close. And strikes into this little Intellect Devourer here. And you see the brain of this just kind of swell up and then just kind of burst. And its little legs kind of crumple to the ground. Jinku makes kind of a sad noise.
You killed the puppy!
And the Intellect Devourer is out of here. Oops.
Out of character. Is anybody else a little sad by that?
I wish it was tiny. I'd summon one as a familiar.
All right, that brings us to Blossom again at the top of the order. Wait, I didn't even roll the... Everybody's the same. Didn't even...
No? Oh, maybe we're the same, I guess.
Oh, yeah, I guess y'all rolled in the same order again. All right. Blossom, you still trying to go after Boo?
Yes, I am.
And once again, you miss. This domination that this Mind Flayer has over you. I mean, it's definitely controlling you towards your friends, but you just don't seem to quite be able to connect as well as you think you should be as you're trying to hit Boo here. Or either that or Boo's just a little more of a dodgy fucker than you thought he was. Alright, that brings us to Boo. You just, once again, deftly gotten out of the way of another Great Axe swing from this Tabaxi coming after you. What are you doing?
You better figure your shit out, Tabaxi. I'm not gonna put up with this all day. And I'm gonna attack him with my
That hits. Alright, and Blossom, do you want to just roll a wisdom saving throw for me right now? Alright, so as this Toll of the Dead, this bell ringing in your mind here, manages to release you. Oh, nice. Nice bell quick. Love it. So this manages to, as you kind of are knocked backwards to the floor, from the bell ringing loudly in your mind. It seems to ring loud enough that it overpowers this, this domination that was over you, and you find your head clearing, and you're sitting here on the ground, and Boo's kind of just standing in your direction with this bell still outstretched, kind of ringing it, and you guys are out of combat. Blossom has come to. Jinku's still really heckin' dumb, but you are out of combat.
Seeing Blossom come to, I will kind of reach out and I'll say, I'm glad you're yourself again. I would have regretted having to kill you. You would not have lived through that.
All right. So, you're all out of combat. So Jinku, you you're probably gonna have to find a way to. You might want to. You'll want to check into that probably sooner than later. But you're currently at 0 intelligence right now until that gets fixed, because it ate your intelligence.
Well, wonderful. Wasn't my strong suit anyways. It really wasn't. It's my lowest one.
Hey, I mean, usually the next step for an intellect devourer is to then actually eat your brain and inhabit your skull. But we didn't get to that part. They're fun little creatures. Hey, Marbanya.
A roomy home for it.
Mix is just going to be laughing hysterically. He finds all this very funny.
So, Floon, you see Floon down on the other end of this, and he is kind of whimpering softly. He's fairly charred and singed and beat up, and he isn't looking too great on the other end. You also have, the dead half-orc that you killed earlier. What do you guys do?
Let's get Floon and get the hell out of here, guys.
You don't want to kill the Mind Flayer?
I would have killed you after I killed Blossom. I'll move over to Floon and try. Can he walk?
So Floon is with support, and seeing Floon in here, Raynar rushes over, and he's more than happy to kind of shoulder the burden of helping Floon walk. And and as you all are kind of gathering around him here, Floon, he just begins to weep, and he starts kind of hugging the legs of whoever's nearby, and kind of weeping and crying and holding you all, and you're like, I don't know what they wanted from me. I didn't know, and they just wouldn't. They were gonna kill me. I don't know what they wanted. I need a drink.
Shut up.
Raynar is kind of supporting his friend here. He's especially glad to see Raynar as a familiar face. He doesn't, recognize any of you, of course. But he's, also kind of gratefully hugging and clutching onto Raynar here. And he mentions, you hear through his weeping here, Raynar, they thought it was you. I don't know why they wanted some gold or something, and your father. I didn't have anything to tell them. It just wouldn't let me go. And Raynar kind of looks down at his friend sadly and replies, I'm sorry you've gotten brought into this, friend. My father had some dirty dealings that even I'm not entirely aware of. Let's get you out of this place. Do you guys check around the room at all, or anything else in this room? The orc you guys killed, anything like that?
Yeah, I'm gonna look around.
Okay.
I'll follow along.
Okay. So
There's a dead body.
are you checking out the orc?
Yeah, and also you said there's these tapestries that are hanging.
Yeah, like the lower tapestry got burned away because it got hit by a bolt that missed. So you can see that this extends into there's a room back here. Assumedly, there's also one behind this other parcel, or this other not parcel, this other tapestry. So you can check those out if you like. Whoever was looking over Grumshar on the floor here, was that you, Mix, I think? Mix, you are looking through and you find in his satchel that he is carrying a spellbook. And you flip through the spellbook here, kind of taking a read of what is inside. And there are a few spells recorded, including Burning Hands, Disguise Self, False Life, Shield, Unseen Servant, and Witch Bolt are all inscribed in this spellbook. And I'll drop this in the party sheet for that. Let's see, who else was searching? Blossom. Are you checking out these rooms? You guys are checking out these rooms on the side here?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
Yep.
mean to, I moved Blossom's token there thinking it was mine. I'm sorry, man.
Oh,
I didn't
okay.
mean to do that.
Yeah, no, I'll go check out the room. What's in this
Probably
room?
check out. I'll probably be following Blossom. I probably don't trust him entirely. So I'll probably keep it
After being
one
dominated,
follow
yeah.
Right now.
So both of these rooms behind the tapestry are both, seem to be sleeping quarters of some kind. More of these kind of straw pallets on the floor. There's also some rusty manacles bolted to the walls. So they might have been using these to hold Floon earlier. Let's see. Boo. Let me pull this up here. So, Boo, you look around the room a bit, and you notice two things. One, on the kind of raised area on the south end of this room, there's that kind of ornate chair that the Mind Flayer was sitting on when you guys came in. And behind this stone chair, you find a small unlocked wooden chest that contains a few things, including some potions of healing and some various coinage, some gold pieces, silver pieces, and copper pieces. And so we put that in here. 16 gold pieces, 82 silver pieces, and 250 copper pieces. And additionally, as you and possibly your familiar as well are kind of scouring around this room for things, you also notice in the kind of, there's that little nook on the northern end of the room, which seems kind of strangely out of place. And you notice that one of the flagstones on the floor seems to be loose and somewhat drafty.
Yeah, I'll be looking. See what's under there.
Okay.
I'll pull it up.
All right. Get that up here. So you pull up this flagstone on the ground and you see this small tunnel that extends to the north. It appears to be some kind of escape tunnel, at least from what you can tell. It's fairly rough hewn. You're not sure where it goes, but it looks to connect to something. It's not very long. It only goes for about 15 feet before it looks to have something blocking the other end.
Oh yeah, I'll tell everybody before I do anything there. I'll say, hey, I found maybe there's some sort of bolt hole of some kind. Do you guys find anything? That's about all I found. Oh yeah, I found this, and I'll show the money that I found, and then give it out to everybody
Okay.
and the potions.
How do I like if from the coinage in the party sheet? How do I tell? How do I make that like just divide evenly across the party?
If everybody, somebody double check everybody's in the party sheet. It looks like they are.
Yep.
And then you just click that little down arrow. Boom. And then it leaves the odds there.
Okay, so there's an odd gold piece and 2 silver pieces for whoever wants
Yeah.
to snatch them.
And it'll ditch those up. I also offer the potions up to, I probably I figure I'd hand one to each of the melee, fighters. I'd probably
To
try and
Blossom and the Jinku.
Yeah. If they don't want them, I don't care, but that's who I would offer them to.
I'm derpy. I don't know what the hell it is.
Jinku thinks it looks nice, but yeah.
It's pretty.
I'll just put it in her pocket and tap her on the head. And motion her. I'll just point her down this hole.
Okay. All right, so you guys are all heading up the hole this way then.
Yeah, why not?
All right.
Sure.
So you head up the hole to the north, and you find yourself in what looks to be a fairly normal cellar of sorts. There appears to be some various brewing, alcohol brewing equipment. There's a few vats that have some, somewhat generic beer brewing away in them. Various other supplies for that sort of vocation, and just general cellar clutter. As you're, or wait, no, ignore that. Yeah.
Should we perhaps in this area take a short time to maybe rest and gather ourselves a little bit? I'm a little fatigued, not too much, but I don't know how each of you are doing. This one's drooling like an idiot, and probably for the third time I'll wipe drool off of it.
And as far as I can tell, I think the only one that's damaged is Blossom. Well, and Jinku's mind, but
Yeah, tiny bit of damage, but not much.
I do feel bad about
Other
what I
than
did
the
to
mind.
you, Blossom. I am sorry. Well, if you guys are fine, I think we better get Floon to Volo as soon as we can. Is this a way up here? There's stairs leading up there.
yeah. So as you're looking around, there's a door that opens into another part of the cellar, and then some stairs that seem to go up to what looks to be just a regular average house.
Mix is gonna grab himself a couple of alcoholic beverages.
Well, none of them are. There's none that are in bottles. These are all vats of currently brewing alcohol. They're still in the process. They're not done. I mean, you can scoop some unfinished alcohol out of a vat if you want and try to drink it. Probably wouldn't be very fantastic, but it's still mid brewing process.
Oof.
Mix kind of turns his nose up at that thought because he's a bit of a brat. So
All right, so you guys head upstairs.
I'm kind of eager to get out of here, to be honest. That mind flayer has me freaked the heck out. So I'm probably rushing up the stairs even ahead of James.
All right, so Boo, you come rushing up the stairs here and kind of, burst out of this kind of wooden door at the top of the stairs. and you find yourself in appears to be a fairly regular kitchen, and you see a kind of middle-aged halfling couple, both kind of kindly looking and rotund, currently in the middle of baking something in their kitchen. They look rather shocked and alarmed as you come busting up out of their cellar here, and they both go, oh my, what, how did you get down there? Where are you from?
Well, so, is there any windows in this room?
Yeah, there's it's the kitchen, so there's a window, above kind of the cleaning area in the kitchen. There's also, have a fire on one end with a, cauldron on it, and, some other various fruits and vegetables that are in the process of being prepared on a table in the middle of the kitchen. It seems like they're just, in the middle of making a meal, what it looks like.
Can I use, prestidigitation on one of the windows to, either make a sound like a maybe a window breaking, or even if I can make a small puff of wind to blow it open or something, to kind of maybe just distract them as I run to the nearest exit.
Okay.
I'm out.
All right, so you kind of make a little, puff of wind happen on the window over the kind of sink area, and it kind of claps open and makes a bit of a sound, and the kind of middle-aged halfling lady kind of jumps like, whoa, whoa, and she kind of turns to her husband and, Harold, get the window. And so he kind of turns around, kind of jumps up a little bit and tries to slap the window shut as Boo zips through the room here, and the rest of you are all kind of coming up the stairs. And both of them are, as all of you kind of are filing up into their kitchen here, they continued, their mouths just seem to get wider and wider as, first this strange little blue creature comes out, and, then an elephant, and, a guy and, two gentlemen in fairly finely clothing, one that looks quite injured, and Tabaxi, you're quite a motley crew suddenly popping out of their basement, and they aren't quite sure what to think of it. They're a little in shock.
Jinku has a huge smile on her face and is just waving eagerly at them.
They seem at least somewhat calmed by this. They don't really seem to notice. They just notice that they notice your friendly demeanor, and this seems to calm them somewhat. And they're still a little concerned that you popped up out of their basement, and they continue to kind of ask how did you get into our cellar? The only way in there is the door here. We never saw you come in. I mean, at least you seem friendly enough, though.
Jinku just shrugs and then continues to smile and wave.
All right.
Yeah, that's not the only entrance down there. And I'll proceed to usher Jinku towards the door to leave.
So, hearing this, both of them are like, other entrance in the basement? What? How long has that been there? And, as you're, are all kind of on your way to get out of here, Raynar, kind of mentions to them, and, good madam, it appears you unwittingly have a Xanathar escape route under the flagstones in your brewing room. And the halfling woman kind of gasps like, oh! And Harold, the other halfling, looks a little, kind of furrows his brow, and he says, well, we can't have any of that. And we'll be sure to get that sealed up right away. I'm sorry whatever you had to deal with down there. I assure you we had no dealings with these folks or had any idea that was there. And he kind of, promises to you that they'll get this sealed up. You can actually see him kind of heading, he kind of goes over and digs in a closet nearby and seems to be, you kind of see him set like a trowel nearby, and kind of dig through, maybe trying to find some other things. Boo, go ahead and roll an insight check for me, since you're calling bullshit. All right, so you are kind of looking at these two halflings here, and the sense that you get from them is that they are sincere. They just seem to be some middle-aged halfling homebodies, going about their life here in Waterdeep. They truly do not appear to have any intention or dealing with this gang that evidently had an escape route through their basement. Do any of you guys ask him any questions or anything at all? Or are you guys just leaving?
Yeah, I think we're just leaving.
All right. So you head out of their house here, and you find yourself. Crap. Hold on. Let me find the map here. Where is this at? I cannot find this street.
Do you show me that spell book you found at all, Mix?
Oh, here we go.
You found the spell book.
No, it was on the corpse you found. It was on
No.
the dude that
No,
was all you.
I failed the investigation check. I thought you passed it.
Okay, well then I'll take it.
Yeah, go ahead and take it. It's worthless to a warlock.
So you find yourself, let me share this map with you all, in you're in Fishgut Court in the Dock Ward. It's kind of in the northeast corner of this map. You should see Fishgut Court there. Kind of right here in the corner. Yeah, let me scoot this down here. Let me see if it lets me draw a thing. I drew an arrow to it, if you can see it.
There it is.
Yeah, so you step out of this pretty small, just regular house on Fishgut Court, among these other houses here. And it is fairly late into the evening at this point. It's dark outside. It's probably about maybe 9 p.m. or so. There's still, it's a city. There's still, people around and milling about and going about their business, but it's the evening time. Or later evening.
Well, Reinar, Floon, should we try and get you guys home? Or should we hole up in an inn somewhere for the night so that we don't get jumped? I don't know how far we need to go.
Let me give you the map of Waterdeep. One sec. That's not the map I want. So from where you're at, it's not too far from the Yawning Portal. So if you should be able to see this map right now, I'll draw on it for you. Fishgut Court. And then you should see the yawning portal on that map. There's an arrow for you. So you pretty much have to just go up those kind of two main streets, and you'd be back at the yawning portal.
Shall we go to the portal, guys?
Yes, I need a bath and to change my clothes.
Here, I'll fix your clothes. And I'll ruffle over them in like a caricature of what a doting mother would. Because I cast prestidigitation a few times to clean his clothes. I finish it off by licking my thumb and cleaning his cheek.
All right.
Aww.
All right. So you all head your way back up to the yawning portal through the streets of Waterdeep at night. Nothing of particular interest happens to you as you come along. And you enter the yawning portal, and you find Volo at the bar, drinking alone, kind of anxiously tapping his fingers on the bar, awaiting news. And as you come in here with, Raynar, and then Floon, over Raynar's shoulder, leaning on Raynar, kind of being held up by Raynar, Volo springs up and runs to embrace his friend, and also all of you as well. He embraces each of you in turn, whether you like it or not.
Oh, Jinku's loving it.
Jinku's very into the hugs right now. He as he steps back from you, Jinku, he looks a little confused at your state. He kind of turns to the rest of y'all, says, "Is the large one all right? She seems a little different than the last time you came by. What happened?"
Oh, she just got her brain eaten on a little bit. Is there a healer or someone that can maybe take care of her?
Ah, the intellect devourer. An interesting little beast they are. Well, you're in luck. I do know of, there's a temple you can visit, up in the... Hold on here. Yep. There's a temple in the castle ward north of here, the Temple of Seldarine. They can cast spells of greater restoration, and they'd be able to help your friend back to a more normal state. I'll send word ahead of you if you happen to head that way. I'll take care of the cost for you. I can do that at least for bringing my friend back.
It's probably too late now, but we will take her first thing in the morning.
All right, and as he mentions that that this temple that he'll pay for, he kind of raises his finger like, yes, of course, the rest of our deal, of course. And he kind of wrings his hands a little bit, and he says, I confess that I have but few coins to spare at the moment right now. I'm waiting to hear back on some royalties for my recent book that was published. But never let it be said that Volo reneges on a promise. So let me present you something you might find much more valuable. And he kind of reaches into his pack and holds out a tube with a scroll in it. And one of you take this and check it out. Boo, you take this? Okay. All right, so Boo, you grab this scroll out of his hand and kind of eagerly take it out of its tube. And as you're doing so, he continues, "This is the deed to a remarkable property here in Waterdeep. The Troll Skull Manor up in the Northern Ward. We'll need a magistrate to witness the transfer of ownership, of course. and I'll be happy to arrange a meeting with one, tomorrow if possible, after you've inspected the estate and deemed it satisfactory to your liking. But I hope you enjoy it. It is an estate rich with history.
I see. Well, I suppose this is worth, this apprentice becoming an idiot, huh? And I'll kind of tap Jinku on the head or whatever I could reach, and I'll say, well, sounds like we're gonna have a farm for you to live out the rest of your days, Jinku. It'll be okay.
Jinku just smiles.
All right, and with that, I think that'll be a good place to call it, since we just passed the 11 o'clock mark here. All right, Floon has been rescued. You've got a deed to check out, and Jinku's brain to find. Restore. Nice work, you guys. And thank you all out there for coming and stopping by. Thanks again for the raid, Marbanya. Saw you stop in. We'll see you all next time.
Yes, this was fun.